All right, everyone. I'm gonna try to get this in. It's dusk right now. Maybe I'll put the light on here. Put the light on. Yeah, put the light on. So it's dusk, and so I'm gonna try to get this in before it gets too dark. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for the new subs. All that. So let's get into it before it gets too dark. How to deal with failure. How to deal with failure. Right. So this is sometimes we have a tendency to beat ourselves up, and this is something I really among all the things that I really had to learn. This was definitely a key moment for me, is really figuring out how to turn tragedy into triumph, right? And trying to turn things around and make things sure that everything becomes successful. This is a process. This is growth and maturity. So if you can figure this out at a younger age, right? If you're in your 20s, if you can figure this out, man, you can save yourself a lot of heartache and a lot of pain and trouble along the way. So you're going to fail. First of all, let's get that out the way. You're going to fail. Every chess master, every video game player, every NBA player, every tennis player, every CEO of a company, every entrepreneur has tried to do something and fail. Don't ever think that people just become successes overnight. Even that Hawk Tuah girl at 21 years old, who is not going to be a millionaire, has failed at something in her life. She pooped in her diaper when she was 2 or something. Everybody does something, right? It may seem like some people that just get this random success, and it's those type of people are 1 in a billion or 1 in a trillion, but it happens. So you're going to fail. You're going to try and you're going to fail. When I took the police department test, and I probably talked about this. I actually looked through my catalog to make sure I didn't talk about this before, but I definitely know when I took the police department test, I tried it a couple times, not the test, but promotion examinations, right? I didn't always succeed. I didn't always come out as high as I wanted to. I didn't always, I had to keep pushing myself, and I had to learn from my mistakes. So that you have to learn from your mistakes. You have to learn from your mistakes. I don't know what happened there. Cut off for a second there. So so you got to go where you're appreciated. All right. So you're going to fail. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to embarrass yourself. You're going to fall down. This is going to happen. But the keys to success are learning from your mistakes. That is the key to success, is learning from your mistakes. What did I do wrong from the police department examinations for the promotional examinations that I didn't pass? That was what I had to figure out. The first test I aced as becoming a sergeant. Captains and lieutenants, I had to figure out what I did wrong. I didn't blame anybody else. Quit blaming other people. Let me say this again. Quit blaming other people for your mistakes, for your mess ups, for your screw ups. One thing I can't stand is when people blame other people for their mistakes. You have to learn from your own mistakes. It's not the teacher's fault. My parents, my grandparents, my aunt, they didn't tolerate that. They didn't tolerate, it's the teacher's fault. The teacher didn't like me, right? The boss's fault. The boss is right. No. First, accountability starts with you. First set of accountability, and I don't deal with on long bases of people who don't take accountability. I don't deal with people like that. I don't like people like that. And I'm not talking about, I just don't hang with people. I just can't get down with people who just pass the buck. It's somebody else's fault. Somebody else messed up. Right? They're looking to blame other people. And this is a psychological phenomenon that we studied in psychology. People want to be part of the in crowd. Nothing's ever their fault. I get all that. I don't really mess with that type of thing. But I'm just telling you, man, you got to take responsibility and accountability for your own failures, for your own inactions. And I see this all the time, where there's always, particularly with the younger kids, right? Because I'm teaching college courses, and they're always got some excuse, right? Oh, this happened. I can't get my paperwork in. You know what you signed up for. You got to be a big person. You know what you signed up for. When the classes were due, you read the syllabus. If you didn't read the syllabus, shame on you, because we provided it. You got to step up and be the big person to take accountability for your actions. If something went wrong in your marriage, something went wrong in your relationship, something went wrong with your relationship with your children, something went wrong with your car, you gotta take a look and see. First thing's got to be, did I do what I'm supposed to do? Did I take my car for regular maintenance? Did I take it to get the oil changes? Did I do what I'm supposed to do? Oh, the dealership did. And it may be true. It may be true that it's somebody else's fault or other people's responsibility. The first thing is, did you put the proper gas in it? Did you take it for proper maintenance before you bought the car? If you bought a used car, did you take it to a trusted mechanic so they could give it the once over? You have to do what you have to do in order to afford yourself the greatest chances of success. And far too often, I see people blaming other people for their failures. For their failures. And I'm not saying other people aren't at fault. I'm not saying the teacher doesn't mess up. I'm not saying the teacher might be a racist. They might be. But I can't imagine a teacher going through all the school. This is what my parents didn't listen to that. You're trying to tell me the teacher went through all the schooling that they did and all this kind of stuff, right? Just to fail you? Just to fail all the black kids in school? Right? Just to fail all the Hispanic kids in school? All right. They might have their prejudices and stuff, but if you turned in A quality work, then they got to give you an A. So I told some of these stories I told over time. So I was going through my doctorate program, right? So I'm giving right. This is like the third, fourth, fifth class in, right? So everything else I'm acing these papers, right? Papers are no issue for me. I'll take papers over tests all day long, right? 3-page paper, 5-page paper, 10-page. Give me that all day long, right? All day long. So I'm acing these mugs. So I get to this one class. It was a history class. I'll never forget it. History class, history of leadership or something like that, right? We had to pick a person from history and then talk about their contribution to history and what made them a good history and line it up to the present theories and all this kind of stuff. So I had to do that. This dude gives me like an 83. I think that was the exact score, like an 83. I'm like, what is this? So I emailed him, right? What is it that I missed? What is it that I missed on here? Where's the rubric on here? So then he attaches the rubric. Now the rubric should have been part of the class. I don't know why it wasn't, but when I got the rubric, he actually had the boost of the grade to a 98. Right? Because I covered everything. What are you grading this on? So I didn't get all mad. I didn't run to the dean. I didn't do all that, right? But certainly I'm watching it, right? So there was something that was occurring, and I took the mature method, the mature way out about handling the situation. I don't know if the guy, I don't know, I'm not going to make any pronouncements. I'm not going to say he didn't like guys, or maybe he was a racist, or I don't know. I don't know what his issue was. I still have that email though. What is this about? I got everything else. Where's the rubric at? What are you judging this on? What are you giving me 83 about? What is it that I did not expand upon? First question to myself. Right? If there's a standard, what is that standard? If you get written up on your job because you are 15 minutes late every day, and the standard is to be there by 8:30 in the morning, and you're strolling in at 8:45, it's not the boss's fault. The boss isn't a jerk. Well, they might be a jerk, but they're not a jerk for that. So you first have to look at yourself. What is the standard? And if you are failing to meet the standard, if you're getting passed over for promotions, constantly getting fired, constantly in trouble, constantly strolling in late, constantly, first thing you have to do is take a self-inquiry of yourself. And this is difficult. This is hard. This is why people have mentors. This is why people have life coaches. This is why people have them, because they have a hard time holding themselves accountable. And you need somebody to hold you accountable. Do you have somebody that will hold? If you can't hold yourself accountable, if you can't look at the rubric, and by rubric, I'm talking about the standard of your job, standard of the military, standard of about living with your parents, standard about being in a marriage. What are you doing? So stop blaming other people for your failures. Stop blaming other people for your mess ups. And first take a good, strong, hard look at yourself and figure out what you could have done better. The second thing I want you to understand, right? So first thing about failure is what you've got to learn from your mistakes. Look at the standard that is there. Stop blaming other people, right? Then you got to make a plan. You got to make a plan to fix the mistakes. I looked at my test scores from my trying to pass the examination of the police department, and I made the proper adjustments. I didn't just wallow in a pit of self-pity. I didn't blame other people. I didn't get mad. I didn't say they were a bunch of racists. They don't want to promote black people. I didn't do any of that. And all of that could be true. I'm not saying it's not. But I'm saying after you've done a self-assessment, looked at the standard, looked at what you're doing, you got to make a plan about how you're gonna attack this situation going forward. My plan was to study harder and understand this. My plan included sitting on other oral board panels for other departments, because that's where I was messing up at. I didn't think I could speak or talk or whatever. So I was like, all right, okay. Right? Because my written scores were up there with everybody else. I could write all day. But my presentation, something was missing from my presentation when I had to sit before these higher up officials, but police departments. I'm not going to bore you about how that goes, but something was missing. So I made a plan. My plan was, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Because I guess I will bore you with this. The way the police departments and some police departments hire their supervisors is they do written testing scores and then oral examination boards. So the oral examination consists of about 3-member panels of higher ranking officers. So if you're going for lieutenant, they would have assistant chiefs or captains from other departments come in and evaluate you and your responses. You only get one chance to get it right. So if you walk in there and your tie's not straight and you got other stuff going on, then that's on you. This is your chance to shine, and you're not going to get another chance. So it's either sink or swim, pass or fail, right? So my scores weren't high. So I said, you know what? I'm going to be on the panel for when people try to get promoted to be a sergeant. So when I became a lieutenant, I was like, you know what? And I saw me sitting on the panel. Me sitting on the panel, I saw how people answer these questions. I'm like, man, is that what I look like? These guys are idiots, right? So that was my plan. And I saw how people answer the question. I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, right? That was my plan. Other people make another plan, and they sit before mock boards and stuff, friends, and they get critique from their friends about how they're doing. I'm just telling you my plan. I'm very much a Sigma. I don't want to, it just wasn't my thing to sit before my friends and stuff and do that, right? Because I know I would be a little bit more nervous. That plan obviously worked for me. I got some high ranks and stuff. Maybe the other plan would have worked better. But you got to make a plan. You got to make a plan about how you're going to improve. How are you going to improve? Do you have to study harder, study longer? Man, I study 2 hours a day. Well, study 3. Cut back on the other stuff and study another hour a day. Man, I'm always messing up in these relationships. I screw up on my relationships, and I talk too much, and I'm too bitter, and I'm too mean, I'm too masculine, I'm too feminine, I'm too this, I'm too that, right? Talk to someone about why. Listen, what happened in this relationship? What happened? Give me an honest assessment about myself. This is hard. What I'm telling you to do is hard. And I just did it the other day. Calling a friend up of mine. Listen, what happened? How did people see me? I just did it the other day. So I'm not telling you to do anything that I wouldn't do or haven't done. So listen, you got to have a plan. Run that plan by somebody. Run it by your pastor, your coach, your husband, your wife, your boss. How does this plan seem? Can this plan work? Can this plan help me to improve? You got to have a plan. This is how you deal with failure. This is how you deal with failure. Are you learning from your mistakes? My aunt used to say that to me all the time, and when my kid, it's crazy how you grow up and You know, your parents say things to you all the time. Next thing you know, you're sounding just like them. And my aunt used to say to me, something would happen. Like, what'd you learn from that? What'd you learn from that? And I used to ask my kids that all the time. And they would fall down, this, that, and the other. What'd you learn from that? Because every failure is just an opportunity to learn. Every failure is just an opportunity to learn. You get into a minor fender bender accident. You get into, you mess up a project on your job. You mess up a project on schoolwork. You mess up, but it's an opportunity to learn, and you shouldn't faint and fall out. This is another big problem. People want to withdraw from school and they want a different teacher, and so many times, man, being a college professor, man. Let me tell you, these kids. Listen, I don't know. Maybe I just need a new professor. All right, go get another professor. Okay, you think somebody's gonna be easier? Listen, I'm sure that there are some professors out there that are easier. I'm sure that there are. And I had this one student. She just emailed me the other day. Listen, the semester's almost over, or the term is almost over. So listen, I just want to thank you, because she was thinking about giving up. I said, and she wrote me earlier in the class, like week 2 or week 3. She's like, listen, whatever's going on, I just don't know if I'm going to pass this class. I said, first of all, we don't talk like that. We don't talk like that. We don't talk like that. Not in this class. Because it was a leadership class. You don't know, my PhD is in leadership. I have a PhD in leadership with concentration in criminal justice. We don't talk like that. I'm making leaders in this class. And leaders don't talk about quitting. We don't talk about that. So then, she just emailed me the other day, just wanted to thank me because I gave her the push to go on. Sometimes that's what we need, is just the push to go on. Somebody that we respect, somebody to tell us that we can do it, we can make it. And that's part of how we deal with failure. She had some things she had to fix in it, but instead of saying I'm gonna quit, somebody just needs to push her and tell her, you can keep doing it. You can pass. I'm not here to stop you from getting a degree. I didn't sign up to do this to stop people from getting a degree. Think about that. Now, there's some jerk bosses out there, but generally, the boss his job isn't to make sure that you get fired. It is like August, and I just saw somebody with skeletons on their lawn. Their job isn't to try to get you fired. Their job is to make sure that their job as a boss is to make sure that you get better, and that you do your job and to make sure that you get better. So part of their job as a boss, and if you're a boss, listen to this. If part of your job as a boss is to train people to get better. If they mess up and they make a mistake, if you're yelling at them, hollering at them, man, you shouldn't hire you, just looking down on them and all this. Listen, you're a bad supervisor. It's a bad supervisor who does that. Listen, you made a mistake. I'm a little upset, but we're going to fix this mistake so you don't make the same mistake over and over and over again. This is how we deal with failure. This is how we deal with failure. So it's getting dark. It's getting dark, so I want to end it off there. But I just want to kind of drop that to you because I see a lot of ladies, particularly in the comment section, and kind of beating themselves up about past mistakes and spending money and giving the wrong guy an opportunity. And this didn't really go the way I wanted to go, and I'm going to talk about that in particular, about past relationships. But generally, I want this to be, a general statement to everyone. But how you deal with failure really says a lot about character development and maturity. How you deal with failure, mess ups, screw ups, mistakes, tells a lot about your maturity and about your character. And those things can be developed and become more positive. Your character and your maturity can develop and should develop. And mistakes are part of that process. Accidents are part of that process. So I'll leave it off there. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. Hit me up on I'll put it on the screen here, um, to make sure that you hit me up as far as if you have anything you want me to talk about. Um, Try to buy me a sandwich. I would appreciate that, right? Gas money. Sometimes I just take drives just to make these videos and stuff. So much love and peace, everyone. Much love and peace.